All right, good morning, everybody. Hope you guys had a great holiday. We wake up to yet again COVID news. Doesn't look so bad on the Nasdaq at all. It looked like no big deal. Um, decline down to the bottom of the trading range, and I would suspect buyers step up there. But it doesn't look so pretty elsewhere. And considering, well, it's the end of the week, trend is still up, but it's going to be a pretty potent bearish 180 reversal on a new high failure, which would suggest lower prices. We'll see how far this goes. I mean, if you listen to the news, different countries now stopping travel from Africa. We'll see if they stop travel from other places and how this thing evolves. So it's a moving thing. One of the things I heard was, well, they said someone in Israel contracted it. And they said the guy had, I'm assuming it's a guy, vaccine, had boosters, and here we go. All the so-called immunities, precautions, whatever, and they have it. So same shit, exactly, TJ. I don't know what to say. It's a crazy thing, and it is what it is, as we say. We deal with it and take care of ourselves, and like everything else, it will pass. And so, as far as the markets go today, it's a half a day. And it's kind of a coin flip where normally it would be historically based on seasonality. The morning after Thanksgiving, the markets typically rally, and clearly they're way down here. The cues, if things are going to rally, it appears that this is where the opportunity would be short term. But if they can't lift off, this area or dip down, a lot of times they dip down at the open and then turn back around. But if they can't get going, obviously, maybe it's got to come back down here. But so far, this is showing relative strength. It's above the 16,000 level. The pivot's down here, a couple of bottoming tail bars. And other than news, we would say, well, it's just this market tends to whip all around. And, if they loved it down here the last 2 days, we'll just have to see what they do in the first half hour if they want to step up here. And then we'll look at individual stocks that are holding up better than others and what isn't. Now, as far as other places go, looking at the spiders down here, they touched 460, it puts it right here. And unfortunately, there's just nothing to the left. And I'm just looking over here, there's really just, this little shelf right there, which isn't a big deal. And in between this area is where there was this choppy consolidation. So there's no clearly defined saying, hey, you know what, that's the point, but somewhere in here, it's a big gap down, so percentage wise. I don't know if I can see it on my other system. It gives me the size of the gap already pre-market. I don't know if this is right. I don't know if this is updating in real time in TC 2000. I don't think so, because it says minus 22.22%, and that can't be 0.22%. Gapping down to 460. I don't think so. But anyway, gapping down here, nothing to the left there. Going to turn around. Well, all this trading here from when it started, just kind of a slow grind up and hitting the converging MAs right here. And I don't know if it'll roll over or not, but if this was the middle of the day, it was 2:00, I'd be looking to short this. But it's not. But the reason being, that type of a trade, the interpretation would be, hey, it gapped down, it traded all day, it made these pivot lows, it tried to go up and it failed. It's at a point in time of the day after 2:00 where things typically are going to move one way or the other. And because it couldn't go up, I would assume it would go down. But it's not 2:00, it's the morning. And I'm not so sure. It's got this void above, which makes it difficult. Now we've got these pivots here. If it should pop up at the open and roll back over again, I think that is going to mean it's going lower. If it clears it with some authority, what does that mean? With a wide range bar, like a 5-minute wide range bar clearing above those highs would be a good sign for the bullish case. And I don't know if it'll fill the gap. In reality, we never know anything when it comes to the markets other than what we saw in the past and what is in the moment, and then make an assessment about what will happen next. So so far I can see that it's trying to go up and it's failing, and coming down here to this area, what we looked at somewhere in here, this cluster of trading that occurred is the most significant area of support. And we'll see if it holds there, or if it does get there. Now, so we look at that and then give us a reference point as to where it is, basically in the middle of nowhere. And premiums and SPX. So right away, the upside would seem like a no-brainer if there was any premium up there, which I've been doing a few other things and I haven't looked, but it's going to take me a second. But I gravitate toward, hey, it's going down there. The put premiums are going to explode. And is there some lower strike that's ridiculously far away that it's unlikely we're going to get there? And so as I look at this chart and say, okay, S&Ps are around here. There's nothing there. We've got this cluster of support as a defense line. We've got the 50 MA there. And then I look at 4,500. What would happen if it went down there? It'd be buyers all over the place, I think. And I think it'd be ridiculous. They're never going to get down there today. Right? So I'm going to go look and see what premium is there. And you never know. Sometimes you get a surprise. It's a quarter and it's wide. It's a quarter by 40. So how high do we have to go to get some juice, as Dan calls it? Well, 45.20. That's not too bad. That's pretty darn far away, right at the 50 MA. So 45.20 is 50 by 60. 50 cents by 60 cents. And so just to review again, you see where this is at. And that's based on where the S&Ps are. S&Ps were at around 460, right down here. There's a line of support down here. There's a 50 MA. And if I'm thinking credit spreads, I got to think it's a no-brainer. So while 4,500 would be ideal, 45.20 is not bad considering it's got to get through this support. It's a big gap already. There's a 50 MA there. And so what do you do at the open? Well, you could look at the spiders or the futures. And so here's the futures here. What I've got this line there in the middle of this area of support. And you can see I can put the price in there, which I don't have. Show the price, bold it. Let's make it dark blue so we can all see it and make it a bit bigger. And so 45, let's call it 45.75-ish. And you can see it's already down this much. So the credit spreads are the easiest thing in the world, right? Just look at the day to expiration, find something as short as possible, 0 DTE, beautiful. Right. Where's support? How far away is next support? Where is there premium there? So again, going back down to that 45.20. And I didn't even look at the call side since it's down so much, but I will. Next here, 46.80. Oh, all right. Interesting. 46.90. So the gap fill would be resistance. 46.90 has premium. And so right into this congestion there. Let's, see which way it goes first thing in the morning. 46.90 and 45.20. All right. Q said the Q's popped. Well, they're on the support there. I wouldn't read too much into that pop down as a indication to act on anything. That's for sure. But let's see what happens here. I'm going to be watching all of these markets because while this might pop up a little bit, maybe it'll drag the others up. But there's this pivot high up here, and you got to watch first thing in the morning. There, some jiggles happen, and believe me, this is a surprise. People are going to be holding losses because of the gap down. Things acted bullishly before the holiday, so that uncertainty just might bring in some sellers initially. Let's see what happens. The Russell, my goodness, this market is beyond, I don't even know the word for it, to tell you the truth. A year-long consolidation breaking out, and maybe this thing turns into a giant bottoming tail bar today. It's a huge thing, and we had a nice trade in that on Wednesday at the open there in the middle of the morning, and that had a nice rally. And now this kind of really just messes up the chart in a big way. So we'll see. It's a huge, huge, huge bar, and such a failure on the weekly time frame. It's almost unheard of. Can you look at the VIX? Yeah, we could look at the VIX. There's VXX, up here, 2350. So what we do, was $ VIX. What we do with this, you see it's up here, and go up to where it turned before. And if the markets continue to sell off, you see this is coming in a little bit because the markets are stabilizing. And there's this giant gap. It makes it difficult here. So I pull this back up here because now that it cleared this, if I was trading this as a gap trade, meaning some stock that gapped up like this, and I was thinking to buy it, well, I would look to the left to see where a prior swing high was. And as it came down there, I would look for a buy setup. So let's just put this over here, and you see down here at just below 25. And if I scrunch that up, you see that over there. Too much scrunch, but you can see how it puts the line there. And what I would look for is this to come down here and then begin to turn and buy it, right, for a gap trade. Now, we're talking about a market internal gauge that we use that's inverse to the market. So what does that mean? It means if this is coming down and this is going up, I'll keep an eye on the VIX or set an alert there. And when prices get there may be nothing to the left here. I don't know how it's going to line up, or with the spiders. I don't know how it's going to line up, where it's going to be at. But wherever it's at, when I see the VIX come down here, if it does, you can see it's stabilizing here right now, comes down here and begins to turn, I don't know, with a bit of a bottoming tail bar, a breakdown failure, whatever, it'll be something that will aid me in making a decision with the direction of the markets at that time. Right? If it just keeps coming down, remember our conversation over the last couple of weeks where markets were going up. He said, what's the first reference point of support? Prior bar's low. Well, it's the same thing as things are going down. First reference point is a prior bar's high. And if the VIX keeps coming down and it never breaks a prior bar's high and it keeps going down here, well, it went through that reference point, and then I looked to the next reference point. That would be down here. And obviously, if that was happening, the market's having some giant rally and it's saying, who the hell cares who's got coronavirus in Africa and who's closing down? Well, right now, we need more information to see how this unfolds, what shows relative strength. We could, we don't have time here, maybe Dan's look, but what's gapping up? I see one thing gapping up, Dan, is this cars.com. It's gapping up here. So there are plenty of stocks that are gapping up here this morning that are showing relative strength as well. All right, other markets. We looked at Qs, we looked at the Russell. The Dow is getting smashed here, and it ain't bouncing at all. Just hanging down there. So that isn't coming off the low. There's nothing really. Well, there's this what we call minor support, but that's beyond what's directly to the left. And so one of my rules, that's part of what we call MTS, Master Trader Technical Strategies, is that prices trade below and back up. It neutralizes it as a reference point. That doesn't mean others aren't going to look at it, but in reality, there's nothing here, right? Because of the way this just shot up. So the concept of creating support has to come into play. Well, I can look at that and say, it's subjective, but let's see what happens there. Well, so far it can't get out of its own way, and it isn't bouncing, but it's a long way down. It's climactic. It does have a big bottoming tail bar. Again, can it pop up with authority? Can it give me a wide range bar? And what's a wide range bar here? Well, look at the size of this move over several bars. It took several bars to move up that far, and it failed. Now, it's got this big base here. And if I could get a big bar, let's be a chart artist here. If I could get a big bar, I say first thing at the open, it does that. I'll be like, okay, that's something. Let's go with that and see if we get if it's a bottoming tail bar, even better. Let's buy it and see what goes on here today. And by the end of the day or by 1 o'clock, we'll have some information as to what the markets believe about this corona scare by the end of the day. By the way, I'm talking to you with a mask on, so no worries. All right. Gotta laugh, right? This stuff will make you cry, right? There's craziness going on. All right, wide range bar down on the S&P. Is it the start of coal coming from Santa? I don't know. But silver down at support, probably worth the shot here. It's already popped up intraday and backing off at resistance and get a little time. Gold, deep retracement. We've talked about these such bullish moves that just evaporate. It's happening everywhere. It's not just gold, it's individual stocks, it's markets. We're seeing it happen right now today. I guess this changed contracts, and oil's getting smacked down too. Hey, everything shuts down. Who needs gas? Right? What are you going to go buy? Hey, you better go stock up on toilet paper. Better go get that food and water. Rush out to the store, everybody. Here we go again. Bitcoin breaking support here. Apparently for the moment, it seems nowhere to hide. And the transports, which were holding up pretty good, but now we've got the, the airlines, which I told you, well, I'm in this one. Is it this one or Delta? They look the same. I think this one. And so now look at what's going on here because of this corona scare, right? Nobody's going to fly. I guess the cruise lines will get pounded today. And is it a buying opportunity? Beginning of something again. We shall see in short order. All yours, Dan.
Good morning. Hope everyone enjoyed the holiday. And yeah, I surely was surprised when I turned on the TV and saw the gap down. And that highlights the landmine of really of any swing trading, but the selling options and spreads, and you hear me saying all the time, let's go ahead and close this for 80% or bid 2 cents because we want to avoid gap risk. And yeah, there's nowhere to hide, as you said. So yeah, I'm stuck in some of these things too. So as Greg said, we have a put spread in Boeing here. I mean, if you would have asked me on Wednesday, 4 p.m., oh, Dan, hey, what do you think the odds of this gapping under $200 is? I'm like, what would be the news? It would have to be, I would have said Corona or accounting irregularities or another major setback on their 737. It would have to be something big for this to do what it's doing right now. So 30-minute low on bullish trades that are gapping under the stop. Obviously, things that are holding up are these reopening trades of all the FANGs. So you got Netflix and Amazon kind of are in that category. So this could be a 0 DTE put spread Netflix. It's I don't well, they call Amazon a stay home stock because I guess they're thinking if you're at home, you're bored and you're gonna sit there and buy things. I thought I read or saw on the TV that somebody at Amazon is striking through Monday. I don't know. I didn't read it, but the stock is bullish, so that's a put spread idea. And Oliver's asking about Myrna. Yeah, somebody emailed me a little bit ago and said, "Hey Dan, with this news, what about Pfizer or Myrna or whatever?" And I didn't even look at him because he said, "Hey, do you see good opportunity?" And my response was, without even looking, I said, and I told him, I said, my response is the same any given day. Find me a compelling setup on the time frame you're trading. End of story. So let's look at that. Is there one on Myrna? 313. It's a big gap. I mean, there's nothing, there's no bias for me to swing trade a gap like that. It's holding up well pre-market, so I don't know. Put it in a 5-minute window and then we'll see. Pfizer gapping up to $54. Same. There's absolutely zero interest in swing trading that long or short, but maybe it sets up for a day trade. That's a bullish 5-minute. No, it's not a no, it's gap, Joe. It's not. Well, because a novice gap is one that ends an already extended fluid move. This one's a bullish uptrend. It's not a straight up. It's not a straight up fluid move far from the 20. But let's come back to that when we have slow time and we can talk about it more. What else? So Merck actually is getting hurt by the news. I guess same kind of thing, that what helps Pfizer is hurting Merck kind of story. BNTX, another one. 3, that one I have no interest in. Maybe Pfizer, maybe Myrna, could be a 0 DT put spread. Other reopening stocks. Yeah, we're actually in Zoom put spread. we did a nice put spread on Wednesday, and we're getting the benefit of that. So I moved the stop, and I said let it expire worthless. What other reopening things? Piton 47. That could be a zero DTE. So that's worth watching. Put that in a window. T-Doc. There you go. I didn't see the gap's too big. All right, so hey, Joe, hypothetically, if this didn't have this green bar here, and then this gap down $10, $15, that would be what we call a novice gap. So, you want the fluid moves far from the 20, and then you have an exhaustion gap. But this I would love if it were gapping up just to about 110, a couple bucks over Wednesday's bar. Then that would be a tier 1 day trade and put spread. So now it's gapping up to here. So what do I do now? Well, I don't know. It's not as no-brainer anymore. Well, you don't have to punt, but you could punt, or you could put it in a 5-minute window and see what it does. See if it does set up. All right, so we do have a $45 put spread in UAL. We stopped out of our Delta. I thought this one stopped out on Wednesday, but it held the stop by 2 cents. And that stop would have been at a profit. So there's one where, there's nothing you could do about it, but you're wishing, oh man, I wish I got stopped out on Wednesday and had a profit. So, same thing, 30-minute low for now. What Netflix put spread would you look at? Well, Joseph, it depends on if it's 0 DTE or 7 DTEs. If it's 7 DTE, I'd wait for 30-minute high, and it would be under the week's low, provided there's good juice there. I have no idea what they're going to be. For today, I don't know yet. I don't know. It depends how it sets up here. If we hold the pre-market, or if we get a buy set up, if we get a double bottom. So I don't know. I don't know. We on MT Live, how we always have those pictures of the 9 bullish money patterns. So that's what you're looking for. Any one of those 9 pictures, and then we decide what strike to do if there's good enough juice. Yeah, John, that's the instruction I gave as a blanket rule, because I need more information. If it's not 30-minute, what is it? Are you going to sell market at the market open? Are you going to use a 5-minute low? I don't know. So I need more time. And so 30 minutes gives us some breathing time, but that's an ugly gap. I mean, I can't deny that.
Should have tons of bearish call spreads here, Dan. I mean, I see stocks gapping under green bars like DVN. I don't know any premium, but these are some ugly gaps. If there's premium above yesterday's high.
Are you talking 0 DT only, or next week?
Well, we start with 0 and go from there.
All right. So what did you say? DTN?
DVN. It's an energy stock.
Yeah. Sure.
Man, the airlines that are gapping down, for the moment, I'm holding what I have. Doesn't look good, but this kind of news, is it is it something that's going to evolve into new shutdowns? I don't know. Or is it just like this thing's going on so long that it's just an overreaction with the markets? You know, I don't know. We'll see how things play out in the next half hour or so. But I'll take a look at what are the ugly gaps and which are the kind of just continuation type of gaps that may be just an exhaustion gap like the airlines. Well, they had some time to consolidate there, so it's really not an exhaustion gap, but
Correct.
we'll
Right.
see. We'll see.
Right. So I would not call, because we were talking about novice gaps earlier.
So just throw out a couple ideas that I'm seeing here, gaps that won't get above yesterday's Friday.
Yeah, sure.
Starbucks, FedEx. Well, Home Depot's holding up really well.
Costco, all-time high. Have you heard me say that?
Well, people are rushing there to get toilet paper, you know.
Here, look at RK. Why, look at this thing. We were looking at that on Friday, remember?
Tesla's holding up and getting bought right away. Caterpillar, a little bit of a nasty gap down. And financials. PayPal's holding up here. Could be a day trade long. Let's give it a little while. All right.
I like this ARC lady. It's kind of run here from pre-market, but I don't know what is in this thing? Why is this thing positive?
Just click on it in TC 2000. You'll see what's in it and what's up.